Okay, so you're engaged, very excited, and then next is the wedding.
No, next I had to go back to work and break the news. So here's the thing, right? So now I had to go back to work to break the news to people. But there's one person specifically that I was so nervous to break the news to.
Who is this now?
So as I was working, or while I was working, it was, again, you meet a whole bunch of people. The company that I worked was very social, a whole different bunch of dynamic people, like different. It was amazing back then. So you meet a lot of people, and I happened to meet or become friends with other people through my friendships. You see how hard it is for me to get there?
So you met friends through friends.
I met friends through friends. There we go. I met friends through friends. Right? And I used to smoke at the time, and so did these other people. So we used to meet like in the smoking section or wherever. In fact, I never used to smoke at the time. They taught me how to smoke. Right? My friend Nikki, she was like, this is what you do and whatever, you know. So she showed me. I coughed a couple of times. But then I used to see that, because we used to get like tea breaks and that, and all of them used to go down now during these tea breaks and, you know, have a quick smoke together or go for a quick break and have smoke. Even lunchtime, they all used to go chill out. And so it was like everyone had their groups, you know, when you're a smoker. I was like, I gotta be a part of this. So they taught me how to smoke, and now I'm banging the groups now.
Okay.
And so we met this one, well, I met this one guy in particular. His name is Reno. He's a pretty cool guy. I always said to my mom that I would marry a white guy and live in New York. Well, I think I said that I would marry a white guy from New York. I don't know. But one of those things, it was New York and it was a white guy. And this guy happened to be white, you know, and big. And being like a small, I was very, okay, I wouldn't say I was petite, but I was very lean then. So I was short and lean, you know, so I was a small girl. And I always liked that, you know, that comforting feeling, you know. And because this guy was like big and that, I don't know, there was something that attracted me to this person. But it was just a friendship. I didn't realize the attraction. It was just a friendship for a long period of time. Until this one day, myself, Clarissa, and him, we went to McDonald's for lunch. And we came back, and he had jumped off the third floor and we had jumped off the fourth. So he jumped off the third and he said something funny. And I laughed. And the door closed and Clarissa looked at me and she says, I think you have a crush on Reno. And I was like, nah, man, I don't. And we got off the floor and I was like, do I? And so that started fixating, or that started playing in my head. And so later on, I'd seen him, after work, I'd seen him. And I was like, you're never going to believe what Clarissa said, you know? And then he was like, what? And then I was like, she thinks I have a crush on you. And then he was like, do you? And I couldn't say no. And so therefore I knew what the answer was. And then I found myself in this predicament.
Okay, so let's line up timelines here.
Yeah.
So this guy asked you got a crush on him, you got a crush on him.
Yeah, so I couldn't say no, so then I knew what the answer was.
Yeah, so you knew you had a crush on him. And then what happened after that?
We started spending time together, but not like in a sneaky way and doing like things and stuff. We just started spending time together to get to know each other, because we just knew each other as Nikki's mutual friends, you know. So we started getting to know each other, but I have to be honest, it didn't take long for us to realize that we had chemistry. We just got along like house on fire. He got me my first tattoo we had an excellent friendship relationship, yeah. And before I realized it, I then realized that I had feelings for him. And it was a very sticky situation. Because Kavish and I would go to church, and Rado would want to join, and it would be like the three of us sitting in church.
Oh, that actually happened. You didn't say no to one of them.
No, obviously I deny someone from going to church.
Well, maybe you got a different service or something.
Yeah, my friends ended up catching up. They used to speak to me in the side and be like, "Listen, when Kavish looks at you, we see hearts coming out his eyes, we see that. And this other person, we can also see the same thing, but like they were leaning more towards Kavish. And I knew that, and I understood that, and I could see that as well. But you can't deny, and I tried, to stop. But how do you stop seeing somebody that's at your work every day? You're working in the same building. And you also can't deny, your feelings at the time.
Okay. So you're stuck in this situation.
And so Kavish phoned me this Friday, or was it Thursday? I think it was Friday. And he was like, so tomorrow we're going to picnic. He's coming up to Joba. So tomorrow we're going to picnic. Wear a dress if you can. It's going to be a great weekend. And just based on that statement, I had this little instinct that he was going to pop the question. And I was having a smoke with Nikki and Reno after work when this conversation was happening. And I put the phone down and I was like, guys, I think this is going to happen. And I remember Reno looking at me. I don't think he says anything, but somebody asked me, what are you going to do? And I said, I don't know. But deep down, I knew that I wanted it because I knew that I wanted marriage. It didn't occur to me who I wanted to be married to. I mean, it could have been the Pope. You know what I mean? I just knew marriage was going to bring me, foundation, security, sense of belonging. And that's what I was deep down craving. The next day came. I wore the dress. And he popped the question.
And then you said yes.
I did. I'm looking for the ring now. There's no ring.
But he had that whole plan with the...
Yeah, but only later he suspected. Because he made me close my eyes, right? He made me close my eyes. And he was reading about his feelings to me and our relationship. And he basically says that I think we should take the relationship to the next level.
And I'm thinking...
Yeah, so I was closing my eyes. He was nervous. So he was on his knee and he was reading. He wrote it down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, next level. Like, what are we doing? And then I opened my eyes and then, I opened my eyes and he's asking me, will you be my wife? And I'm like looking, because I think it's the ring that validates the question. I honestly believe that. Because although saying what I said to him, that you don't need the money, you don't need to buy me a ring or whatever, I ended up looking, where's that validation? Like, are you, because I had to ask him, are you serious? I'm like, is this real? Like, you proposing? And he's like, yeah, And then I was like, yes, So it wasn't like, your typical, because there was nothing solidifying it. Yeah. And only after that, he told me, listen, you told me this about the ring, but this is what I did, and I went to pay off the chain. So here's the chain for you. And I appreciated that because, it's a great gesture, especially, if you're like financially in a financial situation. But then the next day, we ended up going to the mall and I ended up buying my own like cheap line ring. Because you're going to tell people that you engaged, the first thing they're going to look is at your finger, And I knew already these people were expecting me to come and say something on Monday.
Yeah.
So how must I say? And especially, like, how do I say to Reno? I accepted. Yeah. So I was nervous to come back and tell him.
Oh, you've never to tell Raina. Okay.
Yeah.
So where did you tell him? At work?
Yeah, I ended up telling him that Monday at work. Um, he was devastated, absolutely devastated. But he never gave up. He never gave up. He fought for me the entire time of this whole period of me, um, well, of the wedding being planned. My dad planned the entire wedding, practically. Um, Reno fought every day. Even when the invitations came out, like I even asked him, like, do you want an invitation? Like, I don't know. And then I remember him telling me that I'll only believe that it's real when I see the invitation, you know, I see it printed out and that. And so I gave him, well, I brought one, you know, for him to see. He would meet me every morning when I would arrive at work. I would do my makeup in the car in the parking lot. So we would like chat for like 30 minutes before we have to go in and start working. And I showed him the invitation and he read it and he still fought every single day.
He didn't win though.
No.
Okay. So then you went through with it.
Yeah.
Okay, so Raina was fighting for you every day, but he wasn't winning. Where was your headspace?
I wouldn't say he wasn't winning. Because he definitely made me think or rethink my decision every single day until it finally happened. Because I was asking myself, one, am I making the right decision? Two, if I'm not, do I really want to be unfair towards anyone, especially Kavish? Because no one wants to marry somebody who may have even a little bit of feelings for somebody else, you know. Don't get me wrong, it's so hard to say this in front of you. Don't get me wrong, I loved Kavish at the time. Like I said, he was an awesome person. We had fun together. His family is so awesome. Like, you know, I was just basically, this is where I was. I don't know whether to call myself blessed or cursed at this point in time. I was faced with two people that were wanting, I don't say equally, but like that were wanting to be with me, to spend their life with me. And I couldn't fault either one. I couldn't fault it. But the deciding factor was, and I can't mention names, but an elder in my family, Kavish had basically suspected the whole Reino situation and decided to tell an elder in my family about this. And I basically received a call to say, don't think that we're going to allow any white man to enter our family. So whatever you're doing, stop it.
Pretty harsh words.
Yeah. By then, though, when that statement was made, obviously they don't feel that way now. But at that point, not wanting to disappoint anybody and thinking that's huge, what are the chances of anyone accepting this now? So this is clearly not the right direction. But again, I felt like I was in a point where, you know, if my mom was around, I would have absolute guidance. Firstly, I could be 100% open and honest and tell her, Mom, this is the situation I'm in, like, help me. Two, I may not have needed to be in that situation of wanting so desperately to belong somewhere, that I could have just been a normal, regular lady just dating, you know, and doing what 20-year-olds do. But I love the whole marriage thing. I have to be honest. I love it. I think I've always had that, you know, you have a partner and you share and experience and explore everything life has to offer with one person instead of doing it with 100 people. It doesn't make sense, you know. So I guess I was always like that. So either way, I'm sure I would have married early. But my reason for wanting to get married was wrong.
Mm.
You shouldn't need to get married to find your belonging or place to belong at, you know. So that was the wrong reason for me wanting to. But what I did want was him to be in my life and me to be in his life, because I never had trust issues. I never had insecurity issues. The major things that, you know, affected me growing up, he was just a stable man. It was after that statement that was made, he ended up being the perfect choice.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we went ahead and we got married. It was awesome for the first 3 years, to be honest.
First 3 years. And
Yeah.
then?
And then there's also a part when I came back from my honeymoon and Reno had completely depleted himself. Like general managers, everybody was involved. His hair grew that big, his beard grew that big. He totally lost himself. People like want to send him for therapy and stuff.
Sure.
Should I say all that?
No.
Okay, did I say, I'm speaking to you as a friend and I'm sorry to ask you this question, but did I say enough where he knows that I did care for him?
Yeah, I think so.
And did I say enough where Avi doesn't feel
Yeah, I think you gave them both a good amount of respect.
you sure?
Yeah.